The systematic eviction of his own people from his own state of Kosovo crowns a decade of murder and tyranny in what is left of Slobodan Milosevic's Yugoslavia.
You determine that there is insurgent forces in a village, so you drive the people out, burn the village, shell their houses, kill their cattle, chop down their fruit trees. I mean, it's really a sort of medieval approach to things.
At this camp on the Macedonian side of the border, Adriatic sits with his father, beseeching news of his family and country. At the closest border crossing, another family endures an agony of waiting as Macedonian police check their papers. The ones who cross in reasonable shape have had possessions enough to bribe their way forward. It's exhausting nonetheless. A strange war indeed when you can look down on the discarded property of a nation, emptied of its people. You can see the Serb soldiers looting the vehicles. You can hear the NATO aircraft above. And you can sense the menace, the hint, the shock of war.
Pa ja mislim osnovna odgovornost je na predstavitelj Milošević. Zato što ono što je točno pred 10 godini gdje odzede site prava što ga ima steknuto Albancite u bivšoj Jugoslavije.
Milosevic's stripping of autonomy of the Kosova Albanians exacerbated ethnic tensions. Never difficult in a community obsessed with a past suppressed and unreconciled through the communist years.
Mislimo da na njih naša zemlja nikad nije mogla da ima oslonac ni poverenje i ne može da ima. Oni su ljudi šverceri, drogeri, prodaju drogu, kradu, švercuju. Oni samo gledaju Srbina da unište i da opljačkaju.
Me kujt që nuk kemi pas problem, unë që 14 vjet jetoj në banesë në Kosovë, as nuk e di që i kanë shtëpijat, as që kemi mbrana veç një mirë dita në rrugë, qa që kemi pas me ta. A probleme kështu nuk kemi pas, në një ekces, nuk kemi pas probleme.
Farija's husband Imre, a former politician, died of injuries sustained after months of torture. This is the first time his scattered family has been able to visit the grave.
E kam hup shokun e jetës, e vetëmja dëshirë tina ka qenë të shoh Kosovën e lirë. Sigur të kishte vdek për i plumët nuk e kisha pas fortgale, po ka që ka vdek me tortura, masakër për së gjalle.
Shkandia was another good witness of the build-up in Kosovo. As a translator with the OSCE's verification mission, she was enough aware of the growing threat to get out. She had time enough to carry away her young daughter, but her husband and the rest of her family are still in Kosovo.
I'm scared because he was an OSCE member too, so we were warned that when they leave, we will be killed, so I think that he's in danger. Because yesterday I heard that the house when the OSCE offices were settled in my town, they said that it was burned by Serbian forces.
We had seen, even during the Rambouillet negotiations, the Serb forces build up outside and inside Kosovo, with an additional 30,000 troops moved in and some 400 armored vehicles. You know, you don't just turn into Pol Pot overnight.
There's no doubt that President Milosevic was planning for ethnic cleansing. About 25,000 ethnic Albanians were kicked out of Kosovo in the 10 days before NATO's air campaign began. So the trend was there. But equally, there is no doubt that it was precisely the air campaign of the alliance, originally designed to prevent ethnic cleansing, which actually triggered off the biggest ethnic cleansing.
But for the refugees streaming out of Kosovo, certainly the ones we spoke to, there was no blaming NATO.
It's not true that Albanian people were afraid or scared from airstrikes. Only the scared and afraid it was only from policemen and these paramilitary forces, Serbian forces.
You know, you wouldn't dare to look at them behind as they were drawing us, as they were pushing us, this mass of people. You couldn't dare, because they might just say, okay, you washed, now turn back here and I want to shoot you in your head right now.
Tani paret që kanë marrë qitë një qa keni pare këtu, mi qitë në qeve, krejt kanë qitë 200, 300. Sa kanë pas, si kanë pas mundësi me marrë gjatë rrugës që ju nevojitën, ata e kanë shtimi qitë. Ose për ju vrasën pregadit një fishek, ka thanë Serbit, se po dojna me shpradhë qëtu.
Ka dođu u kuću, ženu ima zlatu, kaže daj mi mene i hajde makni. Za 2 minuta nećem da ti vidim u svoju kuću. Šta imaš ti, ja ne znam, samo izađi iz kuću, ništa drugo. Ništa nismo uzmi, samo ođe, ovako.
Evident particularly in the sacking of the capital Pristina was some considerable planning. The city was emptied block by block.
As if they planned long before, you know, because we heard this part of Pristina, because telephones were working still. So that part was expelled, another part. So even we know our turn.
And they said that why are you waiting so long? The trains and buses are already ready for you. They are waiting in Kosovo Polje to take you out, so leave as soon as possible. Lucky for us, they didn't kill anybody. They had big guns. They had black masks and black gloves, and they had bloody knives.
From the moment on, we were refugees. All these refugees walking through the center of the city were thrown with stones, with glasses, with who knows what, from the Serb part. These civilians, some of them went out in the streets and shouted, "Go to hell, this is what you deserve."
No one could deserve the fate that befell this woman. Left to care for her 2 grandchildren, she lost them both. The first died of exposure.
Po rrinë këta unë tona nena, veç ka I posha me sy. Kur tha në u myt një thmi, a I shkon thmija I djallit tem.
The second child in her care was crushed to death in the crowd.
Dikush ta shqiptarët, dikush në tona ne theshin, në bre halo gjallë koka, ata shkelshin me kerë, her kënej. Tha, nuk bëm, tha, mës dilni, tha, heq mi prek, tha, se qitë një qenit, tha, se thmi ka bëll ka thmi, shqiptare, tha, qitë një qenit, që jenë në të qetë.